Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about algebraic expressions. We're going to identify the terms, coefficients, constants, like terms, and then how to write them in standard form. So we're going to break this apart in a few different days because it's a lot at once and we're just easing back into it. So make sure you take good notes today, ask a lot of questions when you have them, and be prepared. Let's do this. So vocab. You have to know what an algebraic expression is. An algebraic expression is just a math sentence that has no equal sign. The key thing is there, it can't have an equal sign. It has to be made up of at least one variable, a number, or a combination of both. This would be an example. 3x plus 7 is an example of an expression because it doesn't have an equal sign. This is a non-example. This is not called an expression. This instead is called an equation. And it is because it has that equal sign in it. So expressions don't have equal signs and equations do. Term. This is another key piece of vocabulary. A term is a piece of an algebraic expression or an equation. This expression right here, 3x plus 7, has two different terms. 3x is one term and the 7 is the other. Each piece is called a term. So if it's combined or multiplied by each other, that's together, and the symbol that goes in front is always included with the term. So this would be a positive 3x and this would be a positive 7. How many terms does this expression have? If you said 3, you're correct. We have a positive 3c right here, a negative 5d, and a negative 15. So it has 3 separate terms. Look at the following expression. Pause the video and see if you can identify how many terms this expression has. If you said that this expression has 4 terms, you're correct. It has a positive 3, a negative 8b, a positive 7, and a positive 3b. So terms again are just the pieces that make an expression an expression. A coefficient is another vocabulary word. Pause the video and write down the definition for coefficient. A coefficient is a number in front of a variable. It's always written as a product. It's multiplication. So in this example, 3x minus 5, the 3 is the coefficient. The coefficient is always with the term that has a variable. If it doesn't have a variable, it can't be a coefficient. A coefficient is just a number that is in front of it. So in this expression, the coefficient is a number before the variable. So the coefficient in this expression is negative 5. 7 is not a coefficient because it doesn't have a variable on it. This expression here, has 2 coefficients. The number 2 is a coefficient because it's attached to the letter C, and the positive 9 is also a coefficient because it's attached to the letter D. This would be a positive number. And this one is a tricky one. Can you please make sure to write an example like this down in your notes? If there's no number in front of it, it does have a coefficient. What number could you put in front of this t? So it says negative t, negative 1t. There's one of them, so I'm going to put a negative 1 in here. So the coefficient here is negative 1. If you just had a letter by itself, like an m, the coefficient in front of it would be a 1. In simplest form, you don't usually see it. In standard form, you don't usually see the 1, but if it's not there, you have to assume. The next vocabulary word is a constant. A constant is just a plain number. It has nothing attached. So in this expression, the negative 5 is the constant because it's not attached to a variable. What are the constants here? In this expression, it has 2 terms. Negative 5 is my coefficient, but the positive 7 is the constant. In this expression, it has 3 terms. 2 and 9 are coefficients, but a negative 3 is a constant. It has no variable. In this one, negative 1t is the coefficient, but it doesn't have a constant. The constant would be a 0 or none, no constant. Like terms, just like the cats in the background, they have the same value. If they look the same, they have the same variable with the same exponent, the same power, you can combine them. Or if they're just numbers, you can combine them. So like terms can be combined by adding or subtracting their coefficients. You want to make sure that you know your integer rules for adding and subtracting. Same signs keep and add, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger one and you will be exact when you do your math. So here, negative 5x and positive 2x, same signs, keep and add, but these are different signs, so I need to subtract. 5 minus 2, I get 3. Keep the sign of the bigger number, and you will be exact. So this simplifies to negative 3x. In this expression, I'm going to add the opposite. Leave the first, and then add the opposite. I have negative 5c and negative 3c. Same signs. So I'm going to keep my sign and add 5 and 3 to get negative 8c. And in this expression, that's the tricky one, it has a 1 in front of the d. So negative 2 plus 1, different sign, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger one and you will be exact. Now on this one, it's not quite right yet. I simplified it to get negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1, but then I have to keep simplifying. The negative is always assumed, so I want to write it like this, negative d. That's in simplest form. Lovely. Now we're going to do some guided practice. So I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to make a brand new one for the guided practice. So if that's all for you guys today, thank you. If you're doing the guided practice with me, please watch the next video.